Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is not for everyone. Those are the simplest terms I can put it in. I'm not going to pretend I'm an objective source for this kind of thing, or even a reputable reviewer for that matter. If you're going to use this review as a determining factor for whether or not you buy this game, don't do that. Don't let my opinions sway you one way or the other. Watch the gameplay, watch the story, read up on spoilers. Do whatever you think is necessary to determine if you want to play this game. Just don't take my word for it. If you buy it, great. Do so whenever you want. And happy playing. If you don't, that's also great. Ignore everything about it and pretend it doesn't exist. But for the love of all things holy, stop saying Rocksteady is a dead company because they made something you didn't personally like. G'day chaps, 'tis I, Clownpuncher139. I like this game. I had fun with this game. I laughed with this game. I enjoyed my experience with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Is it a perfect game? Absolutely not. Is it even close to on par with any of the Arkham games in any way? Not in the slightest. But I had fun with it. And frankly, that's all that matters to me when I'm playing a new game. The game was fun to me. I personally had a good time. And if you didn't, that's understandable and perfectly fine. Have that opinion. But don't shit on mine or anyone else's who says something even remotely positive about this game. The story is shit. I won't beat around the bush or even pretend it's not. This story is absolute shit. Even disregarding the Arkham connection and the disgrace it places on that series' legacy, this story is absolute dog shit. It's interesting for the first hour or so when they're going through the build-up and exposition phase, but after that, it's a cobbled-together mess of half-assed ideas, stupid moments, bizarre plot holes, and legacy character disrespect that even I can't find a way to defend. And we all know I would do my damnedest to defend if I could. That being said, the writing within this shit story honestly works for me. To be clear, the story is pretty much irredeemable. Like, there is very little you could salvage here to make something good. But the writers being forced to make up the dialogue around this irredeemable turd nugget honestly did a good job, to me. I'll be the first to admit that I have a very lowbrow sense of humor. I laugh at an intricately woven comedy sketch by a genius comedian just as much as a fucking fart reverb. So, all my laughs on stream at the squad's dialogue and character moments are genuine. I found this game to be fucking hilarious. I was laughing my ass off the whole playthrough, and I hold no shame in that, because it just means that the comedy works for me. And if it didn't work for you, that's fine, because comedy is subjective. But even outside the comedic moments, the characters generally felt really well written, dialogue-wise. Actions and plot-wise is another story entirely, and I'd recommend Gotham Paladin's video breaking down the Batman problem if you haven't seen it for a better deep dive than I can provide. However, the dialogue behind all these questionable points is pretty good. It feels to me that the writers understood the characters that they were writing for, and despite the terrible storyline they were forced to work with, they made the characters shine through. All the voice actors did a great job bringing their characters to life. This factor applies to the squad as well. The story they're forced to trudge through is god-awful, but the dialogue they're given is honestly great, again, to me. And the actors are really giving it their all throughout. Like I said, I found myself laughing at damn near every interaction they had in this game. Shark and Boomerang especially were absolute laugh riots that I never got tired of hearing. Again, if it's not your style of humor, that's fine. But don't be mad at me just because I can laugh at a good dick joke. The Justice League as well really shine through in the limited screen time that they get. They picked amazing actors for these roles, and they all do great with what they're given. And although it isn't technically Kevin's last performance, it's clear that Mr. Conroy was still giving it his all in every single line delivery. I love how they made Batman such a commanding force in this game, even if we don't see him all that much. Because now he's the villain on the intercom constantly chatting us up, which is not only a fun reversal of roles, but is a great way to keep him constantly present without the story actually revolving around him. Plus, it's a whole lot better than most of his cutscenes. The best way I can put it is that the writers accomplished their goal and accomplished it well. The problem is that the goal they were striving for was 40 miles up shit creek with a shotgun for a paddle. I don't blame them for hunkering down and doing their job to the best of their abilities when the goal of the job in question was just plain wrong. They did what they had to do, and made the best of a shitty situation. And personally speaking, I can kind of admire that. Alright, let's just get this over with. I'm sure y'all have probably left hundreds of comments by now, so let's do it. They did Batman dirty. Hell, they did the entire Justice League dirty. And frankly, there's just no forgiving that. While they understood how to write for these characters and made dialogue that still felt like it was them underneath the bad story, they were not given the respect they deserve. Half the League members die without any send-off. Flash and Superman have their boss fights, and as soon as their health bar reaches 0, that's it. No send-off, no moment of reflection on their characters, or how the squad could have handled it differently. They're just corpses now, hooray! And their deaths are followed immediately, not with a single second of delay, immediately with jokes. This was especially disgraceful with Superman since he got a total of 5 scenes and 2 lines of dialogue before his fight, which was just a complete waste of Nolan North's amazing portrayal. Lantern and Batman are technically given send-offs, as we at least get dialogue with their characters after the fights, but even those are little more than massive slaps in the face. More on that in a second. The only member given a proper send-off is Wonder Woman, and while the send-off is actually handled really well, and I will admit even got me a little emotional, holy shit does it also feel like a whole lot of nothing because we have no attachment to this character, especially when we're given one of the most distasteful, wrong, and disrespectful send-offs to Batman imaginable. Completely disregarding the situation with Kevin Conroy's passing, because there was absolutely no way the creators could have accounted for it or changed it posthumously, it was a terrible send-off for a legacy character we've grown attached to for the better part of a decade. Batman is killed on a park bench by a single slug to the face from Harley after about 2 minutes of psychopath-level speeches. That's it. This is the man who fought off 8 assassins on Christmas night while putting his brains, brawn, and resilience to the test and nearly losing the only person close in his life. This is the same man who fought through hell when his worst enemy took over the madhouse, facing giants, mutant crocodiles, gargantuan plants, his own fears, and a viral infection that nearly turned him into a monster. This is the same man who overcame blood poisoning to fight through a city-scale prison as it was bombarded with missile fire to stop a zealot and rescue his love. This is the same man who fought off an army that was specifically trained to kill him, overcome his greatest fears, and keep to his code while his mind was slowly corrupted by the very thing he swore to destroy. That man, whom we grew attached to and saw grow for 4 straight games, is killed by a single bullet to the head. That's just not acceptable. Again, watch Gotham Paladin's video if you want more details. I couldn't do it justice. So, with all that said, I give the story department a solid 3 out of 10. It is one of the stupidest, most nonsensical, garbage pieces of DC content we've gotten for a long while. And it only gets those few points back for a strong opener, a few really cool scenes towards the middle, and a few areas where it's clear they had the right idea to do something great, but just couldn't follow through. I always give points for trying, even if you don't succeed in the end. Also, for the record, I personally applaud Rocksteady for actually having the balls to follow through with their title. While the way they handled it was absolutely terrible, and again, should be criticized, the fact that we do actually kill the Justice League and don't just find some cop-out way to bring them back is worthy of at least a little bit of praise. Again, I give points for trying, even if you don't technically succeed in the end. Okay, negativity out of the way. Let's try to have a bit more fun for the rest of this review, huh? After all that, this should be one of the worst games of all time, right? Well, everything else in this game is why I really like it and want to go back for more. I love the gameplay. This is some of the most fun I've had playing a game in a long time, which, again, shouldn't really make sense. Because if I'm honest, this is one of the most repetitive, samey game loops I've ever seen. It really is as simple as, go to this location, shoot the purple things, get new weapons, repeat. Sometimes you'll be escorting a slow-moving vehicle or need to collect some item drops, but in the end, that's all the gameplay boils down to. And you know what? I fucking love it. I love flying around Metropolis casually disobeying most laws of gravity and shooting the shit out of Brainiac's minions. I don't know how to describe it other than being fun and satisfying. Each character feels unique in their playstyle with their own specialized movement and weapons. None of them feel over or underpowered. Each will suit whatever situation you find yourself in, and someone will be a fan of each. Personally, Captain Boomerang was my main because he was just so damn fun, but I'd switch it up pretty often to all the squad members if I felt a reason to. Except Harley. Sadly, I just couldn't find the flow with her like I did with the others. But I'm sure somebody will. And being able to switch up your character on a whim is part of what made the experience more enjoyable. I was never restricted to a single playstyle or way of thinking. I could shift things up whenever I wanted to try something different, and I wasn't punished for doing so. And that freshness helped the seemingly repetitive gameplay always feel fun. Sure, I was constantly destroying these crystals to power down Brainiac's army, but in one case I was using a hitman with a jetpack, in another I was a giant shark monster bouncing around the battlefield, and in one more I was TF2's scout with a teleporter. And that just made the game so much more fun. I can't, or more rather won't, speak to how objectively good the combat system is in this game, but I can say that I loved it. I frickin' love Sunset Overdrive, and this, in a way, felt like a spiritual successor. It's not as great as that game, not even close, but it was scratching that itch I was seriously missing from the lack of similar games. Now, do a lot of other looter shooters exist? Absolutely. Have any of them seemed interesting to me or been this batshit insane? Aside from maybe Borderlands? Not really. Most are either really generic first-person shooters, are PvP, which I never want to play because I suck at, or are Fortnite, which I hate. Also, for the love of God, get over yourselves, people. This game isn't fucking Fortnite. And if you think it is, it's clear you're speaking from ignorance and think Arkham is the same as Spider-Man. Sorry, need to stay positive, but by God, people like that piss me off. I obviously played the whole game solo, because the game literally just came out, and I don't think most people are too keen on hopping online for their first playthrough. But I'm seriously looking forward to playing with some friends in the future. With all the seasonal content they're planning to release, I can see a lot of fun times ahead blowing shit up with some buddies. And even without buddies, the future DLC will probably be a blast, with new characters, new campaign missions, and more. I honestly can't wait for whatever they have in store. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is not a good game. It's not a bad game. But it's a game that I like. And if you don't like it, that's fine. It's clear that this didn't appeal to you, and you're allowed to think that way. But please, for both my sanity and yours, stop saying Rocksteady is going under. They made the best of a shitty situation, and everyone working on the game clearly put their all into making the best product they could have given the circumstances. They were forced to make a live service, looter shooter game where you kill off beloved characters, including the very character that put them on the map. A genre that's been done by every single company to capitalize on a popular trend that only serves to wrench every possible penny out of the consumer, and following a plot that literally nobody asked for. But they worked with what they had and tried to make everything better. The game may be a live service, but you're going to get every piece of DLC content for free with no time limit, unlike events of other games where you must play it during this small time frame and then it's gone forever. There may be a battle pass, but it's restricted to cosmetics only and has no impact on gameplay. And if you don't want the outfits, you don't have to pay for them, and you miss out on nothing. We may have had to kill off the Justice League, but at least we got to see the League members in some great portrayals, showing that at least one person at the studio understood and did care for these characters. And this game takes place at the end of the timeline, meaning there's still over 15 years of timeline available for them to appear in future projects. Maybe a different Justice League game, maybe their own solo games, maybe other characters doing something different, who knows? I know I'm not the only one who wants a Green Lantern game. Hell, they also introduced Elseworlds, meaning that if you don't like the canon they went with, you can just imagine it takes place in a slightly alternate universe that isn't completely Arkham. I know plenty of you don't consider this game canon, and even though I know it is, I'm starting to fall into that category. And even if this game isn't fun for you, it's at least fun for someone. I may hate GTA Online, Fortnite, and Dark Souls with every fiber of my being, but I can still understand why they're someone's favorite games of all time. Every game will be someone's favorite. This game will be someone's favorite. It won't be me, and it probably won't be you, but someone somewhere is putting this game in for the first time and calling it their favorite. And that should be fine. Not every game needs to appeal to everybody, as long as it appeals to somebody. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League appealed to me. Was it perfect? No. Should WB have let Rocksteady do something different? Yes. But did I have fun with this game? Absolutely. And that's all that matters to me. 7.5 out of 10. We'll keep playing with every new update and continue to make content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later, chaps.